Everyone around an Aquarius does the same thing when the silence starts. They panic. They push. They ask what's wrong over and over until the distance grows into something that can't be crossed. That's the worst thing you can do, because the silence of an Aquarius is not what you think it is. People spend years misreading this. They assume Aquarius went quiet because they're angry, because they stopped caring, because something broke beyond repair. Sometimes that's true, but most of the time, the silence means something else entirely, something deeper, something that pushing will only destroy. Aquarius processes the way oceans move, almost invisibly on the surface, with enormous force underneath. What you see as absence is often the most present they've ever been. There are 11 reasons this happens, and knowing which one you're dealing with changes everything. Let's go through them. 1. They're protecting you from what they actually feel. Aquarius feels things at a depth most people aren't equipped to receive. When the emotion is too large, too raw, too honest, too likely to change everything, they go quiet. Not to hide from you, to protect you from the full weight of it. The silence isn't absence, it's restraint. And restraint for Aquarius is an act of care. 2. Someone or something has genuinely disappointed them. Aquarius doesn't broadcast disappointment. They don't make speeches, don't send long messages. They get quiet. And in that quiet, they're doing something precise. They're recalibrating how much of themselves to keep giving. If the silence followed something you did, don't fill it with noise. The noise won't fix it. Only time and truth will. 3. They're in the middle of a decision that will affect you. When Aquarius is deciding something important, something that involves you, something that changes things, they disappear into themselves first. They don't consult. They don't hint. They think. The silence before an Aquarius speaks is often the most important part of what they'll say. Interrupt it, and you may never hear the conclusion they were reaching. 4. They've been overstimulated and need to return to themselves. Aquarius is wired differently, social, engaging, magnetic even. But beneath all of that, deeply, privately internal. After enough noise, enough people, enough emotional weight from the world, they need silence the way lungs need air. This one isn't about you. This one is about survival. The Aquarius who goes quiet to recharge will come back fuller than they left. Give them the space to do it. 5. They've said something important and felt unheard. There was a moment they said something real, something that mattered. Maybe it was small on the surface. To them, it wasn't. And the response they got, or didn't get, told them something. Aquarius doesn't repeat themselves, not because they're proud, because they believe if it mattered to you, you would have heard it the first time. The silence after being unheard is an Aquarius quietly closing a door they had just decided to open. 6. They're watching to see what you do next. Aquarius observes. Constantly, patiently, without showing it. Sometimes the silence is deliberate, a space they've created to see how you move when they're not actively holding things together. Do you reach out? Do you disappear too? Do you fill the space with the right things or the wrong ones? They're not testing you out of cruelty. They're gathering information they couldn't get any other way. 7. Something in the world outside has consumed them. Aquarius carries more than just their own weight. They absorb ideas, injustices, suffering they can't ignore. Sometimes the silence has nothing to do with anyone in their immediate life. They've gone quiet because the world handed them something heavy, and they're processing it with the same depth they process everything. This Aquarius needs presence, not questions. Sit near them without demanding entry. That alone says more than words. 8. They're grieving something they haven't named yet. Not all grief has a funeral. Some of it is quieter. A friendship that faded. A version of the future they had to let go of. A part of themselves they can feel changing and don't know how to explain. Aquarius grieves in silence because they haven't found language for it yet. And until they do, they go somewhere inside themselves where language isn't required. 9. They've outgrown a dynamic and don't know how to say it. This one is harder to hear. Sometimes Aquarius goes quiet because they've evolved past something. A relationship, a version of a connection, a role they were playing, and they don't yet know how to tell you without dismantling everything. The silence here isn't cruelty. It's the space between who they were and who they're becoming. What happens next depends entirely on whether that space gets respected or invaded. 10. They're trying to forgive something and not sure they can. Aquarius doesn't make forgiveness look dramatic. No confrontations, no ultimatums, just quiet. Inside that quiet, they're doing something incredibly difficult. They're measuring what happened against what they still feel, against what they still want, against who they know themselves to be. This silence is sacred. Push into it with pressure or guilt, and you collapse the very process that might have brought them back. 11. They've already decided, and they're giving you time to feel it. This is the one people miss most. Sometimes the silence isn't a question. It's an answer that hasn't been spoken yet. Aquarius, when they've made a final decision, doesn't always announce it. They create space. Space for the reality to settle. For you to sense what's already true before the words confirm it. Not every quiet Aquarius is leaving, but the ones who are. Their silence has a particular quality to it. Still, complete, certain, like a door that's already closed from the inside. Most people respond to the silence of an Aquarius by making more noise, more messages, more questions, more pressure. What they don't realize is that every push confirms exactly what the Aquarius was already feeling, that they needed to go further in. The right response to Aquarius silence is not to fill it. It's to become someone worth returning to. If one of these 11 reasons resonated, you know which one. You felt it. Leave a water sign below if this found you at exactly the right moment. And if there's an Aquarius in your life whose silence you've been misreading, send this to them. Not to explain yourself, just to show them you're finally listening.